Hello. Okay, so we are live, and yeah, this is my Discord channel. You can find it. I have just set it up. Yeah, you can actually go and start using it if you like. I'll be more interactive. I'll be more looking into this. These are the people I follow on Discord. Let me start. It's been long. I haven't streamed a lot now recently. I wanted to restart, and then the day job and everything came into the picture, and family, which matters more. Yeah, getting back to the state. Where were we? Okay, one thing I realized while I was offline from streaming, one thing I realized is if we want to have customized errors like this, right, which we have created for this one, we can, in the data task publisher, we cannot actually use it directly. Rather, either we should do a completion handler, which is a traditional way. If we have to do it this way, then we need to decode it the traditional way. So one thing has to be traditional. You cannot use decode and then where was I? That's what Rob Napier says. So if you want to, so if there is a data task publisher and you want to have a customized error to be thrown, so you need to map the data into the respective return type. So here in this case it's a joke and it's a generic error, so here you can customize it. So that's what he meant here, and then catch any other errors, and then errors to any publisher. So this is what he was telling. So it's either way, either you use the traditional one or use the you have to use either a publisher. So my main thing was to make it completely SwiftUI and combine style. So I wanted to return, instead of having a completion handler, I wanted to return the publisher, so that anytime there is a change in the situation, there is a change in the state of the sign-in, then we need to publish it to the observers. But now we know what exactly why exactly we need publisher. So publisher is needed, say, so this one thing has improved. It auto completes the closing multi-line comment syntax. That's a more recent one, like maybe a year. I figured it out a month back. Okay, so where were we? Why do we need publisher? So the answer is we need to use, and let's say where do we use it, where or when do we use it. So we need publisher to publish values, or in our case changed or modified values to the observers. That is the first part. So coming to the second question, where and when do we use it? So whenever your data changes, and you need to update the UI with the new state of data. So this is when we do. So suppose in here we are so let's just say, okay, let it load. Okay, great. Okay, let's just say we need to load the, so once you are logged in, you are good for a day or two. Okay, so yeah, bad server response. Okay, this is where the publisher, so once you log in, so let me just see whether I can bypass this and I can show you. Sign in request, sign in view model, content view, sign in the sign in view model. I'll just say user signed in true. So now you can actually see it has man. Okay, why didn't it go inside? So we have said user signed in true, and in here if user signed in true, we are actually going in. So let's just say okay, there won't be any view. Okay, here so this is a perfect example of having a publisher and subscriber relation. So here so you go to the screen and you add some data and you say done and you come back. So here the state of this data, this list is modified, will be modified, and you need to update the view accordingly. So in that case publisher and subscriber makes sense. So this person will subscribe to the data changes in the model. So and then this person will enter the data and tell the model saying that okay, add this particular log expense. So the data changes in the model, and now it will notify the subscriber, in this case this screen, saying that okay, the data has been changed, you do the needful. So yeah, so in this case it makes sense. So in having a publisher in our case here doesn't make sense because this is a one-time task for the user. So maybe a day or maybe a week you will never be asked to change the, you will never ask me to sign in. So yeah, okay, so yeah, let me just Okay, it's not signed in. Okay, so yeah, this makes sense now. um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the entire publisher subscriber thing, and um, rather do it with the completion handler. So I'll just get rid of this. So we are back to our classic mode where we publish the sign-in result. Sign-in result has success or failure scenario, and this success, if it is success, it will give you user credentials, or else it will give you sign-in error. So let's go to our view model, and we'll just, so view model is doing a lot here in this case, which we don't need. Okay, and we don't need this, and here I'll just uncomment this part. So we are good here. So in this case, the responsibility of, so sign in request, and it has its own sign in model, so this takes care of it. I'm hearing a beeping voice, so maybe this is hash node. Okay, I think okay. So let's just say expense. It's loaded, and we will just log in. Don't save. We don't have any expense here. Docs1, let's say 10. Docs2, let's say 12. Docs3, 14. And we'll just go here, and we have this. So this is the app which we are working right now. Not much, not great UI, but yeah, it does our job. Say docs1 and update. Yeah, you have the space here, and say docs2, and say I want it to be 11. Update docs3, make this 12. So 10, 11, 12. So this makes sense. And if I say blah blah blah, so if there is this one you can't click in, please enter the valid amount. Let's say 13 goes. So here I can go here to ask for delete. Yeah, so yeah, this is the so this basically, this is the app which I did with the MinStack, MongoDB in the backend, deployed in the Heroku. Front end is Angular and Bootstrap. What else? I'm not and Node.js. So running on a Node.js server. So yeah, I used Express for the APIs, and I'm using the same API here in my mobile app. So I'm not a great fan of cross-platform frameworks like React Native, or was there any other, Sencha Touch, and I've used those, but I'll use Sencha Touch, but not a great fan because of the performance. So mobile has to be native, and it doesn't mean that I won't learn or I am not open to the ideas. I am very much open to the idea, but thing is, native is best. But if a business needs for a common code, common structure, then yeah, great. Okay, coming back to this one. Where were we? So this is fetch val and credentials. Okay, bad server response, invalid credentials. There was one more, password expired. So we don't know. Okay, password expired is for, suppose you have logged in and say it's a 1 hour token. So what do we do? So after 1 hour happens, there should be a timer at which this should trigger. So we haven't built it yet, so we can call it as a scheduler or something. Yeah, we can call it auth scheduler, something like that. I'm not sure. So as soon as it launches, it should basically, so the main purpose of this is whenever the app starts, instantiate this class, this an object of this. So on startup, calculate if there is a auth credential stored in the keychain. So what we are doing is we are storing the things in the keychain here. So if you see fetch valid store auth credentials here, so we are storing it. So expiry we need to still check. So yeah, on startup credential in the keychain, if stored, then calculate the expiry, and if expired, so this is one step in, if expired, then clear creds and log out. So I haven't else continue. Okay, I haven't built an API still for auto renewing the tokens. Like in OAuth 2 we have a in OAuth 2 we have something called access token and refresh token. We are using JSON web token here. In auth 2 there is something called access token and refresh token, and access token is like for like 12 hours or 8 hours or 24 hours, and refresh token is valid for a week or 30 days, something like that. So whenever the access token expires, it will ask the refresh token to refresh the access token. So and it uses, so it's valid for 30 days, and after in the period of time, if you haven't used refresh token for 30 days or refresh token is expired after 30 days, then user has to log in again to get a new set of access token and refresh token. So in that way you are actually making the user's life easier by saying, okay, live your life for 30 days. Yeah, we won't bother you for login for next 30 days. So something like that. Yeah. This is JSON web token, so it has an expiry. It doesn't have any other token with it. Maybe we need to see a workaround, or see there is passport JS. I haven't used it. It was little bit complicated and I am not comfortable with. If you ask me, I won't sign in with Google directly. So passport has all these facilities, Facebook, Google and other things, but I'm not a fan of that. I am not comfortable myself to log in with my Facebook or my Google auth into some other, even though I know how it works exactly. They cannot use the data, they can just use my email address or some unique identifier from the auth provider. So I will never use it. There are two reasons. One, it has to be my app has to be very light. Second, and before that, I am not comfortable sharing it. So when you see me logged in here, I never used email address. It's just a user ID, that's all. So yeah, to authenticate we need email addresses or something, so it's not yet built in. So this is just in alpha. I see MVP I'm making to learn mean stack and this one. Let's see, once I start deploying my apps, this is my second app and first full stack app, like including mobile apps. So Android is yet to be done. So once I start deploying my side projects into AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, I can have, so Firebase, I think Firebase has auth methods, so we can use that. So till then, yeah, I'll just use JSON web token here. So if the stored ifs creds are stored, then calculate the expiry. If it's expired, then clear the creds and log out. Show the sign in page. So this is just the flow I am writing. This is not what the scheduler does. This is the flow. Else continue here. If it's not expired, continue with the app. So this else is basically for if credentials are stored, then calculate the expiry. If credentials are not stored, else in case creds are not stored, then what do you do? If expired, not expired, okay. If creds are not stored, then show the login page. So this is the flow basically. So now where do this login scheduler or expiry check, or we can say expiry checker, auth validator, this sounds like a good name, auth validator. So where does what are the responsibilities of auth validator? Responsibilities of auth validator. So yeah, this doesn't work. Okay. So responsibility of auth validator is on whenever the app starts up. Instantiate. So this on initializing this object, validate if validate expiry of stored creds and start a timer no human validation should not. Okay, validation can be there, so this is again question mark whether we should do it in here or outside. So it names is auth validator. So start a timer to notify on expiry date. Date time expiry date. So there will be a timer which will say, or do we need this? So I'm still do we need this? So I am not yet come to a conclusion that we may need this or not, but yeah, good to have. Suppose I say I log in like 5 days back, and in another minute or so it's about to expire, so I should check this and start a timer and should not allow user to store it. Okay, let's just see, let's just plan our core data, and also next step would be once the sign-in is in place and the keychain auth credentials are like accessible, stored and fetchable, then yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so going back to content view, discard login view, did sign in fail, sorry. So we don't want this now. And we have this in init, so that's fine. This is fine, this is fine. Do we need combine here? I don't think so. We don't need combine here. We don't need SwiftUI. I'm not sure whether we'll need this. No, we don't need. Okay. Let's just run this for a moment. Let's see. It should return me a username password invalid. Awesome. So now if I give this, I'm not sure how to stop that from capitalizing the first letter. Login. Bad server response. How come? So this is bad server response. credential. Okay. So it has come here, auth credential self, and we have the data, sign in response. Okay. Oh, okay. While storing, it is giving a problem. So it is logging in perfectly fine. So that's one step. And let me check here what I think it is throwing an error here. Unhandled error. Sec item add. So what would be the status? Okay. Unhandled error. So if I come here, failure, keychain error, unhandled error. So if I go here and say localized description, then it would give me that particular state. So what I will do is okay, there is a keychain error and there is a now we have to deal with two sets of error. So instead of none, okay, I can have case unknown, and here I can have parameterized errors. Message, it's a string, so here it would be let message, and here return message. So does this make sense? Not sure. Okay, so we'll have this, and in here we will say unknown e dot localized error dot localized description. So what happens is, in case of unhandled error, so it will have a localized description here of status, because while storing we are setting the status to this. So if it doesn't have unknown keychain, okay, let's just run it once, and so it comes here, so this is fine. this is fine. Yeah. So let's just check. What is it here? The specified item already exists in the keychain. Okay, so we need something to delete the thing. So how do we sec copy matching, sec delete? So there must be something. Okay, yeah, here it is. Delete. So this is the delete query. So we can extract this part into a method and say delete item in keychain. And where does this go? Mr. This Mr. has come here. So let's just say okay. So what we do here is whenever a new one comes into the picture, we just delete this. And then we are in a happy path. Docs. And okay. Passed to the function are not valid. So it didn't delete. Yeah, it didn't delete. Error dot could not be completed. Ah man, come on. How can you say the operation is not completed? So it has given the status here unhandled error. Okay. Let me get some water and I'll be back. Oh, what happened to this? I'll be just seeing one. So be right back. Create a new one. Browse. Okay, let's do one thing. I'll stop this now. I have to prepare my food. Probably, and then my family will be back. They have gone outside. let's just stop this probably around 9 o'clock. We'll come back. What's the time? Okay, so it's about time, so I'll take another half an hour for preparing the food. Half an hour to 45 minutes before the family gets back. I have to do that. Okay, I'll be back in say another 4 hours, then we can continue on this.